All right. So, did either of you ladies accomplish the goals that you set? Remember, we started at the semester time, and at the beginning of quarter 4, we kind of set our goals. Yet you did? That is amazing. I love to hear that. Hi, Franchon. Hi, Juliana. So the warm up today was, did you accomplish your goal or goals that you had set at the beginning of this quarter? You didn't? Why not? Did you make your goals too large? You forgot about them halfway through? Good morning, Will. Good morning, Isaiah. So my question is about whether or not you guys accomplished your goal or goals that you had set at the beginning of the quarter. Good morning, Aiden. I mean, obviously, one of the goals should have been, graduation. Okay, Franchon. So you're like, you remembered them and you're still working your way that way? Okay. What about you, Isaiah or Will or Aiden? Not yet. Okay. Are you still working your way towards them though? Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that. What about you, Isaiah and Aiden? I know Juliana's reached has achieved hers. We already talked about that one this morning. But what about you two gentlemen? Still working on it? Okay. All right. As long as you guys are still working on it, that you haven't completely given up, then I think you're still on the right track. Ooh, excuse me. Okay. As long as, like I said, as long as you haven't been like, oh, I'm completely done, I'm completely giving this up, then I think you're still on the right track. Sometimes we have to adjust our course, right? It's there's a sailing term. Hi, Keelani. And as you're sailing, sometimes you have to adjust your sails and you have to adjust your rudder because sometimes you've got to change course or move or whatever. And so they talk about just adjusting your sails. And that's the idea of correcting your course. And sometimes we have to do that too, right? In life. Hi, Brooke. So Kaylani and Brooke, I was asking if you guys had accomplished the goals that you were set at the beginning of the quarter. And a few kiddos have said absolutely yes. A few kiddos have said no. A few kiddos said I'm still working on it. Almost there. Hi, Analia. So what about my newest kiddos that have just popped in? How are we doing on the goals that we set? All right, guys. Well, you guys are still thinking about that. Let's kind of go over some of this stuff. All right, so you guys know, right? Starting tomorrow, you start your final exam schedule. So tomorrow during, while I'm in, small group meets, you guys are going to have an attendance form that actually will take you from 512 to 522. Okay. That will open up tomorrow as well. But in addition to your first period and your second period final tomorrow, don't forget, you also from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. have the mandatory graduation rehearsal. Do you guys remember that? I hope. And then I talked about this yesterday that I put it in the announcements for you. So all you do is you come to announcements and you see right here, it talks about the mandatory graduation rehearsal. You open that announcement and here is the link in case you didn't see it in your emails or whatever. Here's a quick, fast way for you to link up to it so you can make it to your rehearsal. Okay. So that's just a reminder that you're not trying to work on an exam during that time period because you can't because you're in honor lock. So yeah, first and second period finalists tomorrow. You have your mandatory graduation rehearsal tomorrow from 9 to 10. Oh goodness. And then you have all of those summative assignments that close tomorrow. For my class, remember there's like 15 of them. That is all of the EverFi financial literacy lessons, all of the EverFi money moves lessons, and then all 4 of the project task worksheets. So that gives you 15 summatives, okay? In your final exam, I did not practice a practice test. No, I don't put practice tests. What I did do, what I showed you guys yesterday, are the same reviews that I'm going over with you guys is also in the final exam module. So when you come to the modules and you go to the final exam, here is the attendance form that you will do. Here is the final exam review, which has the review document, the PowerPoint, and then the Kahoot game that we're going to play today. So all of those are available for you, all in that final exam module. I just put it all together. Okay. Any questions about that? Yep. Yeah, I don't make a practice test. Uh-huh. All right, so let me open up Kahoot. Give me a moment. All right, so you guys need to go to kahoot.it and type in the PIN code, please. All right, Aiden's in. Franshawn is in. I'm assuming Isaiah's in. Ipu is in. And love it, Will I Am. Love it, love it. Annalea's in. Jewel is in. Where's Heidi? And Kylie and Kaylani? And Brooke, I don't see you in there either. Jackie, I need to see you in there. This is the whole part of the, hi Jamie, let hop into the Kahoot, please. This is part of the participation portion. So if you guys are not hopping in here, you can go ahead. I'm gonna boot you. You guys need to get into the Kahoot, please. Heidi's in. All right, where's Brooke? Where's Jackie? Where's Jamie Lett? Where is Kaylani? Where's Kylie? Hi, Melissa. Hop into the Kahoot, please. Come on. Okay, I see Jackie. Yeah, it doesn't let you do that. Brooke, are you getting into the meet? I see Melissa. All right, Brooke and Jamie Lett and Kaylani and Kylie. This is your last chance to get into the meet before I boot you from the meet. You need to get into the Kahoot, please. Same with you. Yep. Are you? Oh, there you are, Jamie Lett. Thank you for pointing it out to me. I appreciate it. Kaylani and Kylie. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start the game. Which is a reason for people to not set aside money. Kylie, you better join this Kahoot. I'm not playing with you. Remember planning for an unexpected expense, guys? Remember that would not be a reason to not set aside money. Okay? Oh, Aiden's in the lead. Good credit is usually required for which of the following? Renting an apartment. Yeah, very good. Let's see where we're at. Aiden's at the top still. Heidi's moving up. Borrowing a subsidized federal student loan means? All right, so this one was a little bit harder. Everybody seems to think that if you get a subsidized student loan, that the government just pays it all off. No, you still have to repay it. What it is they pay the interest on the loan, and you have 6 months from the time you graduate to get a job and start making your payments yourself. Oh, Will I Am's moving up. He's on a streak. Which of the following is not an example of a type of savings vehicle? Remember, it's the payday loans, guys. A money market account is specifically set up as a high interest checking account. Regular checking accounts have low interest rates, and CDs also have interest. Okay. Oh, Will I Am has moved into the lead. A city or town that has corporate status and a local government. It was municipality. So you might want to keep that in mind for your final, guys. Oh, Will's on a streak. Ipu's moving up. Oh. Which of the following government actions is designed to decrease inflation? So they're trying to reduce the money supply, and that can be done in a bunch of different ways. But the idea is to make it so that people don't want to spend money or don't have a lot of money to put out in circulation. All right. Will's still in the lead. What happens when a country's money supply increases faster than the goods and services it produces? And that's inflation, right? Okay. William's still moving in the lead. What organization controls monetary policy in the United States? Remember the Federal Reserve? We also call it the Fed. They're the ones, remember, they're the central bank. Which of the following would be paid for mainly by local taxes? So maintenance of the town's sewer and water system would be paid mostly by the local taxes. National Park is federal money. New Army recruiting office, federal money. Construction of an interstate highway as it passes through the city, federal and state money. Oh, Ibu just beat Aiden out. Which of the following is a tax on an imported good? Remember, a tariff. That's a tax on any imported good that's coming into the country. We had this conversation yesterday in class about the tariff wars between the U.S. and China. Remember when President Trump was in office? Oh, Franchon's moving up. There's an unexpected frost that damages the oranges in Florida. What would it affect and how? The supply of oranges is going to go down. If you looked at the answer choices that you had, that was the best choice for what they were asking. All right. In economic terms, what is a stock? So most of you got this right. A stock is a share or a part ownership of a company. Usually it's, depending on how large the company is, how many times the stocks have split. It's like, 1/100th of a ownership of the company, if you will. All right. In a free enterprise economy, what is the government's role? So it encourages competition among businesses. Okay, that's like their role is not to like clamp down on them, it's to encourage competition. Oh, William's still at the top. Why do U.S. economic policies seek to achieve the goal of maximum employment? So more people work, the more people that work, the economy is better and the standard of living rises. Okay. Oh, William's still in the lead. You just remembered standard of living rises. Well, I mean, if you think about it, right? So the standard of living rises because people are making money, correct? More people are making money, which overall is better for the economy. Because when we're making more money, we spend more money, which moves our economy even further. What is the most basic economic issue for all societies? Talked about this yesterday. So remember scarcity. So no matter what type of economy you have, whether you have a free market, whether you have a mix, you have a socialist, a command, even survival, agrarian, the most basic issue that all economies have to deal with is the idea of scarcity. We talked about scarcity of water, scarcity of land and minerals, certain items, right? That's going to affect all economies, no matter what their level is. William's still in the lead. Halfway through. Which of the following is an opportunity cost of building a new public high school? So remember, an opportunity cost is you give up A for B. So what are we giving up in order to build the new public high school? What you're giving up are the other goods and services so that you can build the high school. Okay. Oh, Fran Sean's up by 3. The nation's relationships with other nations. And that would be foreign affairs. Okay. Oh, Ada moved up 1. A person considered to be important because of high rank of office. This is any generic person, any generic high ranking office. Remember, guys, that's dignitary. We talked about this yesterday. An ambassador is a very specific job, right? So a dignitary can be anybody in any job that has a high ranking position. We would call prime ministers from other countries coming over dignitaries. Our president going to another country would be considered a dignitary. It's because that a dignitary is somebody that is important because they have that high ranking job. Okay. All right. Looks like we'll remember that from yesterday. The right to send and receive diplomatic representatives. It's the right of legation is the actual term that we use when we say, hey, you can send us your diplomats and we'll send you ours. Okay. The second highest position in the Russian government is okay, remember the prime minister is the second highest position. The president is their highest position. If you ever don't remember, think Vladimir Putin, right? He's the president, and then his prime minister is the one behind him. Almost done. A form of government where people elect their representatives to act on their behalf. Okay, remember that's the republic. We vote for people who then go and are supposed to act on our behalf, pass laws that we want them to. That's why we're a republic. We're still in the lead. 3 more questions. The established process the government must follow to take away a person's rights. Procedural due process. Okay, that's the procedure that you have to do in order to take away somebody's rights. Like put them in jail. Get in there. According to the Supreme Court, when can speech or expression be limited? So only when it can harm others. Remember we talked about those freedom bubbles, right? As long as your bubble doesn't burst my bubble and vice versa. But the moment your bubble bursts my bubble, you no longer have that. And free speech would be one of those bubbles, right? Okay. Almost there. The United States citizenship is defined in the Constitution by the, I know we're reaching back to the very beginning of the semester. Remember the 14th Amendment? So the Civil War Amendments, 13th, 14th, 15th, and it is freed citizens vote. 14th Amendment is what defines citizenship. Okay. Last question. The first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution are basic rights that are granted to U.S. citizens. And Sean, you were in third. EP was in second. And Will I Am made it into first. Good job, guys. All right. Oops. Okay, so let's look at the final exam review document that I also have in there. Give me just a moment. I'm trying to open this up here. Make it large enough. Hang on. Let me get you the link in case you want to open it right now. Okay, I put the link in our chat if you want to be able to look at the link right now. So in each one of these areas, we go over key vocabulary words from not only the module, but the lesson. So remember, module 7 talked about, your rights and due process and citizenship. And then into module 8, we started looking at and comparing the United States versus other governments around the world. Remember, we looked at like monarchies, theocracies, commonwealths, republics. We talked about, this is where we talked about dignitaries, and like the rights we have to send and receive diplomats back and forth. Diplomat and ambassador are pretty much the same thing. In module 9 is where we started economics, and this is where we started looking at the factors of production, those things that go into making goods and services. We talked about physical capital. That's what we use, like human made things, like objects used to create other goods and services. We looked at human capital. That would be the humans, right? And the education and training that goes into them. We looked at opportunity cost is what are you giving up in order to get this? So what A is what you're giving up in order to have B, which is what you want. Marginal cost, remember, it's just, it's like very marginal, just a little bit extra to add one more unit. We talked about services, remember the actions or activities that one person performs for others. We talked about different taxes. Remember, proportional tax, for which the percentage of income paid in taxes remains the same at all income levels. That one we've talked about how it can be called like the flat tax. We talked about progressive taxes, and that is the percentage of income paid in taxes increases as your income increases. And then regressive taxes, we talked about that, whereas we see those in sales taxes. And so you don't pay more even if you make more. And in fact, it ends up being where those who make the least amount tend to pay more in regressive taxes. It hurts them harder than those who do make more. We talked about withholding, and that's the money that's taken out of your paychecks before you ever see it. So you have your gross, this is how much you made, withholding, what we take out, and then you have your net pay, which is what you see. We talked about monetary and fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is the use of government spending and revenue collection to influence the economy. So that's the government, and they can either, if our economy is going too fast, they can try to contract it. It's called a contractionary policy, where they, decrease their spending or increase taxes. Or if we're in a recession, the government can use expansionary policy, where they increase their spending and or cut our taxes, so we'll spend more. And so that's the government doing that, right? That's fiscal policy. Monetary policy, and I don't know if it's in here at this point. So monetary policy, guys, is when the Fed tries to control the amount of money in circulation. Remember, a recession means our economy has slowed down. There's not a lot of money in circulation because people aren't spending money. So the Fed lowers points to the banks, and the banks then lowers the interest rates so that we'll get loans and we'll spend more money. If we're in an inflationary area, like period, which we've been in for the last about almost 2 years now they're like, there's too much money in circulation. Hello, when the government was throwing all that money at us during the pandemic and nobody used it for what they should have, it caused inflationary issues. So now they got to slow the economy down. So then what the Fed does is it increases the points in the amount that it, loans the money to the banks, and the banks increase interest rates. Right now, most people don't want a loan if they don't have to have a loan because it's too much. You pay too much in interest on these loans now. Okay. Um, we talked about comparison, the law of comparison advantage. A nation is better off when it produces goods and services for which it has a comparative advantage. And that literally means the ability to produce a product more efficiently given all the other products that can be produced. Remember, we talked about pizza and shoes. Okay. Absolute advantage, the ability to produce more of a given product using a given amount of resource. Import is something that's coming in that we're buying from another country. Export is what we're selling to another country. Interdependence, another word for globalization, the shared need of countries for resources, goods, services, labor, and knowledge. And then they talked about development, right? Sustainable development is meeting current needs without using up resources needed for future generations. Remittances are cash payments sent to workers who have migrated to a new country to their family members in their home country. So I make money here, I send it to my family in another country. Offshoring, the movement of some companies' operations or resources of production to another country. It's expensive to work here in the United States, so they will offshore. They will send factories and stuff to other countries. We saw this, like India has a lot of our call centers, and Bangladesh and Indonesia and Brazil have a lot of clothing factories, right? Brain drain is the migration of the best educated people of less developed countries, and they leave. They leave their country. Why is that a brain drain? Because when they leave, they don't come back. And so these really smart people who, if they'd have stayed in their country, maybe they could have solved their issues, but they've left. And then we talked about globalization. So module 10, we talked a township does not all counties have a division with corporate powers like a township. A municipality is a city or town with corporate status and a local government. Repeal is to like basically get rid of a law that is on the books. Welfare is government assistance, and zoning is the government like decides what the land can be used for. And then key concepts, these are just all of the key concepts. I'm not going to go through all of these because my throat would just not be able to handle it. And then for additional review material, look at the module lesson review sheets for semester 2. These are in our live session pages for each module. They have detailed notes and points from each lesson for semester 2. Okay. So every lesson quiz that you have taken, remember we had lesson quiz review sheets. Those are in our live session pages. You just go pull those if you want even more detailed review information. Does anybody have any questions about the final, about what to do? All right, so again, another reminder, all work closes tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. First and second period exams start tomorrow. They will open up at noon and close at 11:59 p.m. that night. So you have 24 hours to complete your first and second period final exams. You have a mandatory graduation rehearsal from 9 to 10 a.m. tomorrow. That if you want to participate in graduation, you must go. Yes, they're taking attendance. And then there will be an attendance form in our final exam module that will cover 512 through 522. Any last questions? Any? All right. So we are super early. I mean, we have like what? It's and we have 8 minutes left in class. So if you have been here for your 30 minutes, you are welcome to leave early. If you want to stay and ask some questions, you're welcome to do so as well. You too, friend Sean. All right, so no other last questions?